Hey, how's it going, everybody? Zach with Car Talk with Zach, and I know it's been a while. I'm really sorry. Work's been very busy, and just with my kids and youth sports in the fall. I mean, I've got one playing flag football, I've got one playing tackle football, so life's been pretty busy. But now that things are starting to free up a little bit, I'm going to try to do a little more videos. And you know, when this Grabber Blue 2024 S650 Ford Mustang GT popped into our dealership, I thought, here's a pretty good idea. So yeah, I took it to a car show yesterday. It had a lot of it got a lot of attention, so I decided just to keep it for the weekend and show you around it and go for a quick little drive. But let me get out of the way and just show you this thing. It is outstanding. I mean, this Grabber Blue 2024 Mustang GT 5.0, God, I mean, I have to be very careful in this car because it gets attention no matter where it goes. If not the way it looks, for the way it sounds. And we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. But I'll just do a quick run around. I mean, the new Mustang this year for 2024 is all new. It's definitely got some different design language, but you know, you can look at it and just know right away that this is the new Mustang. It is quite a looker. I've always been a Mustang guy. I mean, full disclosure, I have. But you know, I think as a lot of cars do over time, they get incremental upgrades, and they just get a little bit better. And so yeah, I mean, I think that goes for the new GT. So you can really see a lot of the changes up front, the new grille, the new headlights, and you know, it's just a completely different look around front. Very aggressive heat extractors in the front hood. I mean, that's so this engine can breathe. A lot of intake for this engine. Full LED headlights and tail lights, and you can see when you unlock the car, it does this kind of neat little LED dance. But sequential turn signals, and it's you know, really quite aggressive looking around front, and the Grabber Blue really kind of helps with that. It does have a proximity sensor like a lot of Fords, so it's going to light up as you get close to it, even if you keep your key in your pocket. As you get close to it, it's going to light up. These absolutely beautiful kind of spider design wheels, man, they just look great. But even better behind with these Grabber Blue Brembo brake system. I mean, it is just an epic look with the color of this car. These are 265/35 R20 wheels up front, so 20-inch rims. You've got the nice big bold 5.0 badge there on the side, so you know this has that Coyote V8. Horsepower is 480 horsepower with about 415 pound-foot of torque. Rear drive, this thing is the real deal. Round back 265/35 R20s. So you know, a lot of tire surface here to keep traction to a maximum. Although this car, you have to understand what you're doing with it, because we've all seen the Mustang videos that people can't drive. Coming around back, you've got this nice little lip spoiler. Thanks to Laird Noller for letting me spend a little time with the new GT. And then this crazy aggressive, I mean, look at the back of this car. It's super aggressive angles. Yeah, huge dual exhaust on either side. So you've got quad exhaust. Really nice looking around back. I mean, everything's just proper and set up for what this car is all about, and that's speed and performance. So I'll show you the window sticker. It's not cheap. This one, as optioned, comes in at about just under $57,000. So it's got the 401A equipment group, so that's $2,900 plus automatic transmission. I'll get into that when I get back inside of the vehicle. We can talk about that 19-inch Brembo brake package is almost $1,700. The blue calipers $495. You've got the active exhaust, which is a must-have for $1,225. Plus those wheels are $1,350. So all in just under $57,000. So not cheap, but I think you get quite a bit of value actually for this car. So with that, let's jump in and I'll show you around the inside. So before we go for a quick drive and I'll show you the inside, I got to show you around back. I absolutely love this homage to the Mustang heritage and generations in the back window. That is so cool. I just think that is the coolest. So, okay, let's go inside the S650 2024 Mustang GT. I'll show you around and then we'll go for a quick drive. So the first thing that grabs your attention, without a doubt, is this huge gauge cluster and infotainment screen. It's two different screens, but it's one system, and it's enormous. I think it's 12.3 inches on the gauge cluster and something like 13.1 or something like that on the infotainment screen. Coming down, I mean, kind of classic Mustang design language outside of that screen. Red start engine stop button. Fire it up. It does feel very futuristic. So, you know, you can set this gauge cluster to different modes, and my favorite is the Fox Body. Fox Body 87 through 93 gauge cluster, down to the green when the lights are on. I didn't do it for me there, but at nighttime, I promise you, it glows green like your old Mustang Fox Body back in the day. You've kind of got different settings that you can set. It does have an active exhaust, so I'll give you a perspective on the exhaust here in a little bit, but you know, different drive modes, and just watch the, you know, so normal mode, there's a custom mode as well that you can set different things, you know, different steering feel and exhaust and everything. Get back into sport mode, track mode, and then finally drag strip, and if you so need it, slippery. I've spent most of my time between sport mode and track mode, and it's just outstanding. So here you've got how you can set the different auxiliary gauges here, so you can look at, you know, battery voltage and oil pressure, plus your center of gravity. Track apps, you can do your 0 to 60, 0 to 30, 0 to 100, quarter mile, eighth mile. You can also do brake performance, 60 to 0 and 100 to 0, plus a lap timer. That's where you set your custom mode, how you want your traction control and exhaust and gauges and steering feel and everything. You can set it to spec. There's your cluster theme, so you can match the cluster to your drive mode, or you can tell it how you want it to look. So you can see the different designs here, and then all the way at the bottom there you see the Fox Body 87 to 93. That is the quintessential Mustang. If you were a kid of the 70s or 80s, that's the one that everybody remembers, that Fox Body Mustang. So all right, well, I'm going to mount the GoPro, and yeah, we'll go for a quick drive, and I'll talk about this automatic transmission a little bit more. Okay, so here we are in the 2024 Mustang, and so I've got a couple things I want to show you before we get going. First of all, this gauge cluster is ridiculous. I mean, as you cycle through the different drive modes, you got normal, sport, track, drag strip, and slippery. You can see that the gauge cluster will change for the mode that you're in. So sport mode is going to give you a little more aggressive gauge cluster, also in a lot more aggressive driving dynamic. And then track mode is going to be that next step. It's going to turn all the traction controls off, and you can see the gauge cluster again is going to change accordingly. drag strip mode. This car does have line lock with the push of a button. I can line lock this thing. It's going to hold the front brakes. I can just floor it, and I can smoke these back tires right off the thing. So a good way to, when you pull up to the drag strip, to you know, warm your tires up and look like a hero. And going down to slippery again, just a little different gauge cluster. You can also make this thing look like the gauge clusters of the Fox body 87 through 93 Mustang. I mean, how cool is that? It is just so cool. It is just so cool. So anyway, I'm going to put it back into track mode and get this back set up so that I can see. I actually would like track mode, cluster theme. There we go. There we go. So I'm sitting in a cabin that's leather lined. I've got heated seats. I've got a heated steering wheel. It's kind of a cool blustery day. It's a very comfortable vehicle. It sounds outstanding. Let's see how it drives. Legally need to slow down. So it drives outstanding. Let me just say that. It drives good. My heavens. These shifts in this automatic transmission, which I know it's a little, I don't know, my head doesn't want this to be an automatic transmission. I want to be shifting gears. I want to be pushing my left foot down into a clutch and throwing through you know, a nice Tremec 6-speed automatic transmission, or 6-speed manual transmission. But this automatic, as it's downshifting, it's revving, the exhaust is popping and gurgling. It's just, the shifts are just lightning fast. I've got nice paddle shifters here, so I can tell it when I want it to shift up or down. But you know, to be frank with you, it's doing such a good job in and of itself. I'm not really going to mess with it. 0 to 60 in the manual transmission comes a little over 4 seconds, like 4.1, 4.2. In the automatic, 0 to 60 comes in about 3.9, 3.8 seconds. So the automatic's faster. Sorry to you manual transmission purists, of which I would say I am one of. Ford also would tell you that about 70% of the people buying this car are optioning it with the automatic transmission, so that also tells you something. Car's looking for traction. God, that 7,500 red line is outstanding. Good gracious alive. I mean, this car is exactly what I want a Mustang GT to be. It is exactly what I want a Mustang GT to be. It's aggressive, it looks the part, it sounds the part, and it definitely performs the part. I mean, what an outstanding vehicle. Just listen to those rev matches. Oh, they get better with time. I mean, this car on a racetrack would make you look like a hero. The way it sounds and the way it performs, it's going to make you look like a hero. It's absolutely fabulous. You've got, again, 480 horsepower, 415 pound-foot of torque. Stoplight want me to rev, so it sounds good from the outside, just sitting still. Listen to it as I come to this light. grabber blue. I mean, you really have to be careful in this car because it's going to get all the attention of every law enforcement official out there. I'm going to go back down into sport mode. Just talk a little bit. You know what? I'll go down in normal mode. Actually, I haven't been in normal mode very much because that's just not how I drive. But, you know, livability, it's a very comfortable car. I just mentioned I'm sitting on heated seats. It's about 50 degrees, maybe a little more than 50 degrees, but it's cloudy and dreary, and the wind's been blowing. Frankly, I've been cold all day. But, you know, it's a very comfortable car. I've got good visibility. I'm looking across this long, you know, cowled hood. It's, you know, clearly a sports car. I'm bouncing around a little bit, but all in all, my driving, it's making me feel like I'm in a sports car. It's fabulous. I mean, I got to give Ford a lot of credit. You know, in a time where Chevrolet announces they're going to get rid of the Camaro, and the Dodge Challenger, which was the best muscle car in the United States in 2022, is going away, and it's going to come back as a pretty badass looking electric vehicle. Ford continues to invest in the Mustang GT, and this S650 is good. I mean, it is good. It's, you know, about a little over a year or so ago, I drove a Shelby GT350. I reviewed that vehicle. It was before I had this YouTube channel, but you can go to cartalkwithzach.com, my website, and see about the Shelby GT350, and that's a vehicle that I absolutely still to this day lust for. I absolutely love that car. It was tremendous, and what a gift I felt like that was to be able to drive it for a few days. Earlier this year, I had the fortune to spend some time with a Mach 1 of the previous generation Mustang, and it was just so, God, it was so good. It was just so good. It was almost, you know, as good as the Shelby GT350. It really was. And now I'm sitting in this pretty well optioned but otherwise basic Ford Mustang GT, and it's just right there. I mean, we're just splitting hairs between the new GT, the S650 GT, the previous generation Mach 1, and then the ultimate Shelby GT350. I've not had the fortune to drive a GT500 or a GT350R, but you know, just incrementally, I mean, you really are splitting hairs between those different models. The Dark Horse is the ultimate performance version so far of the S650 Mustang. We do have a Dark Horse getting built for the store. Fingers crossed that I'll be able to get my hands on that car, because that is an even more performance-oriented, track-focused version of this car, which, like I said, you're splitting hairs between this vehicle and a Shelby GT350, so I can't wait to get my hands on the Dark Horse. But, you know, for the most part, my mind is blown. This car has exceeded expectations. The design language, it's catching people's eye. The color, the sound, and you know, you buy this car for one of two reasons: the performance and or the sound. Maybe both the reasons. And this engine, this Coyote V8, is just an absolute monster. It just screams, and yeah, I mean, it exceeded my expectations. So yeah, I want to say thanks again to Laird Noller Automotive in Lawrence, Kansas. They've got this vehicle and let me take it to a car show yesterday and help build our brand, but also spend a little time with it this weekend so I can share it with all of you. So thanks to Laird Noller Automotive in Lawrence, Kansas. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry again that I have been kind of absent. Just life gets in the way sometimes, but now that things are starting to settle down, I'll get the opportunity to get back in front of you more often. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.